Hey everyone, how are you doing? It's me, Star Penn, your leaky gut coach and the creator and founder of the JIA Blueprint. And today, what I want to talk about, because we're all interested in completely reversing our children's juvenile arthritis, is why is it that I seem to have completely reversed my child's arthritis with natural methods, medication, whatever way we decide to go about it, and symptoms have come back? What is happening here? What did I do wrong? And why did my child's JIA return? So that's what we're going to discuss today, because this is something that is very common, especially when people are exploring and going down the natural path along with medicine or the natural path by themselves. And the reason really why this ends up happening is because we tend to, number one, jump ship too soon. Jump ship, not a good word. We tend to ease off the brakes a little bit too soon. And it's because we are seeing all signs are good. This really happens when we rely a lot on testing. If you're in the JIA Blueprint, or if you've come to hear my thoughts on things like that, like overly testing our kids, you'll see my thoughts on that are exactly, there's a reason why I have my feelings on the test. And it's because we just put all of our trust and hope in these like definitive answers that are really just coming from a moment in time on a test. And once we see that, whatever markers that we're looking for, without getting specific because there are an array of tests, but if we start to see that these markers that were once high are off the charts and now they're in the normal range, we immediately start thinking like, oh, we're all better. We're going to start going back to, the way things used to be and the way everybody around us does things, and things tend to come back. So let's first talk about when we're going the medical route. Let's talk about that. When we're going the medical route and everything seems to be getting better and we ease up off the meds, what's happening there when the symptoms come back? You probably already know, but really all those meds we're doing, we're just holding back the symptoms. And then once they go away, well, not only does everything come back, but it's worse than before because we really just suppressed the immune system and just allowed everything else that's going on in the body to wreak havoc rent-free in the body. So when we use just the medication, we make our child's entire body just an inhabitable environment for all sorts of pathogens and things like that. So when the immune system does wake back up, it's to a much messier house, so to speak. So it's really just an illusion when we just use the meds. So a lot of my clients, they choose to use meds because their child is in pain. That's an appropriate time to use them. Their child is in pain, and we don't want our child in pain while we're healing naturally. So why do the symptoms come back when we're doing that? Well, usually we're reducing a good portion of those symptoms with the meds. And then in the meantime, we're healing at the same time. I'm all for this. I'm all for being able to get our child out of pain and at the same time heal their body. Because as your child's rheumatologist will over time start to ease off the meds like they would even if you were only doing meds, once they see that the child's immune system has calmed down, the rheumatologist will naturally ease off the meds. So we leave that decision to the rheumatologist. But as they start to ease off the meds and we're employing, all the things that we're doing, we have to keep in mind that a good portion of why there were no flares or any kind of inflammation was in large part due to the meds. The hope is that we're doing the work so well and healing the body, sealing the gut, rebuilding the gut lining, nourishing the body, detoxing the liver and other detox organs, and just really rebuilding our child so that way the ideal situation is that as the meds wean off, we're healing, and that the body just, takes off and flies away like a bird, and we're happy. That's the ideal situation. But why is it sometimes that we go ahead and do that and then the symptoms come back? So that's that question. And then the third is when we do all the things natural, right? We never use the meds. We did everything all natural. We ran all these tests and everything seemed great. Everything was wonderful. Everything from the rheumatologist comes back clean. Everything from the functional comes back clean. And then what? How did this come back? Right? So this is something that we really want to understand, because otherwise, if this hasn't been your situation, you don't want this to be your situation, right? So what we need to come to terms with and understand is that our child it isn't just like luck of the draw, unlucky that they got juvenile arthritis. And we also want to be careful with looking at juvenile arthritis like it is this named thing, like it's a disease. And the reason I say that is because we really want to understand what's going on in the body as a whole if we're really going to keep it at bay forever. So we have to respect the fact that the medical community has to give the diseases a name, right? They compartmentalize, we understand that. But we ourselves, those of us that are looking to heal holistically, we have to understand that these are just names that have been given by the medical community. So we have a way to communicate with words, not necessarily that they have this one specific disease, because what we understand in the more holistic, functional, natural community is that all autoimmunity is just one thing. It's not. Juvenile arthritis is no different than lupus. It's no different than type 1 diabetes. They're all one thing. And so that's how we look at it and how we treat it. So why then, if you've healed your child's juvenile arthritis, all tests show it, why do symptoms come back? And again, symptoms don't always have to be joint pain, right? Could be flares of the skin. It could be another autoimmune issue. It could be a number of things that would indicate, hey, we're not at where we thought we were. And what's important for us to realize is that we live in a different world. This is not the world that you and I grew up in. Look at all the kids that we see in the schools or in our own families, and maybe, even in our own household, that are diagnosed with autism or ADHD or have tics or Tourette's or obsessive compulsive disorder. All of these things were non-existent just 20, 30 years ago. So we need to understand that we are living in a different world. And once we do get our child healthy, and I don't even want to say like in remission, because if we remove the label of juvenile arthritis and realize that really what we have is toxins in the body and an immune system saying, hey, I detect toxins in the body. And what we've done in the blueprint is we successfully removed the toxins that are already there. We've sealed and healed the gut so toxins don't get into they don't get into the bloodstream again. We've also rebuilt the internal gut lining so our child's bodies can absorb nutrients again. And we've also handled underlying infections that were there, that were at a root level, exasperating our child's condition. So these are all the things that we've been doing. And then we wonder, well, why did it come back? I always say our kids are the lucky ones. I know it's hard. To see that because we're seeing them in pain and, having to go to doctors or not being able to eat when other kids are eating and things like that. But really, the flip side of autoimmune disease is cancer. And so I know it seems like there can be anything worse than what we're having to do by way of, changing everything our child eats, all these detox protocols and things that we do, that our child can't, quote unquote, live normal like the neighbors, or like, really, well, some people say they're other siblings, which I really hope no. I really hope that when you enroll in the Blueprint, you're healing the whole family. But we feel so bad for them. What we're not realizing is what a blessing this is, that our child's body is alert and aware. It's self-aware, and it is communicative, and it's talking to you, and it's telling you that something isn't right. Because I'm here to tell you that this is going on with every single person right now. The amount of toxic load that we are exposed to on a daily basis is unprecedented, unheard of. The amount of chemicals, plastics, and hormone disruptors that we are consuming and we're breathing them in, we're eating them, we're putting them on our skin, all over our body. Every single person's body is being bogged down with toxic chemicals, with electromagnetic radiation, the stress and overwhelm of just sheer life at this time, and other things that contribute to disease. Every single one of us is dealing with them. And that's why they say now, remember, you probably have heard the statistics, however many people, one in how many used to get diagnosed with cancer. And it's like now we're at a bottlenecked point in history where they say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's when we were down to 1 out of 2 to really, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so when our child's flares come back, when our child's immune system informs us that something's going on in the body, this is actually really good information, because what we're doing in the Blueprint by handling all of these things that need to be taken care of on a regular basis is we're keeping our child from growing up, whether it be being a young person, a young adult, a parent, grandparent, who is going to develop something more serious. By our child's body talking to us and giving this inflammation, giving us these flares, you know what to do now. You know what to do in order to keep the body cleared, to keep the body nourished, to handle these things. We are living in unprecedented times. Gone are the days where our kids who've already at such a young age have been sensitive enough to let us know what's going on, of going back. We can't go back. We already know. The world itself knows. It is aware. We are not the weird ones anymore, the granola moms, like saying these things are toxic, and everybody else is like, ah. It is common knowledge now that our water is completely polluted. The amount of plastic water bottles that our children are drinking out of compared to what we did, it's unbelievable. We can't continue to turn a blind eye to this. The amount of toxic chemicals that we're putting on us, the fragrances that are in the body washes and the deodorants and the pearls that people stick in their dryers, and on and on and on. These are destroying our microbiome. They're destroying our health. And these are all things that we can start to incrementally take care of and get and start to remove. We can start to live cleaner this way, live cleaner that way. But we don't want to deceive ourselves and think that, oh, I've been doing all these things and everything's great. Time to loosen the reins, so to speak. That doesn't mean that we have to live in like a strict lifestyle by any stretch of the imagination once our child's juvenile arthritis is reversed. But it does mean that we embrace a healthy, natural lifestyle, one that works in harmony with the earth and its purposes. So that, again, it doesn't mean we have to live perfectly, but many times what is happening with our children when we've done all the work and something does resurface, it's not even necessarily that we're doing anything so wrong. It's that our environment is so unbelievably toxic that we've let our guard down. So it's like a shield that we have up. You know, we're in war, our children right behind us, we're protecting them with our shield. We never want to deceive ourselves and let that shield down. We have to open our eyes to what is really going on in the world and really believe and really see. If you've participated in the blueprint, but if you haven't, and you're still learning, what exactly it is that we do inside the blueprint, the things that we're doing are needed regardless. If you're a family of 4 and you have a child with JIA and that is the only child with JIA, I strongly encourage you to apply all the principles in the blueprint with every single person in the family. It's not a matter of if anymore. It's a matter of when. That means that what we do inside the blueprint in order to reverse our children's juvenile arthritis becomes our lifestyle. And when I say becomes our lifestyle, that doesn't mean we live by strict rules, dietary rules and restrictions or anything like that. We start to expand and enjoy all of these foods the way nature intended and the way we were supposed to eat, and we embrace that. And that becomes the only way, the right way, in my opinion, and most of my clients' opinions, the most delicious way, right? The most delicious way to eat. And yeah, it's challenging in a world where everything is boom, 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 super fast, super easy, and super filled with chemicals and toxins and poisons, to just want to go along with the crowd again and want to just, but we really, what we want to do is open our eyes. The goal is not to just simply stop our child's flare and then go back to business as usual. The idea is to realize that our child is our family's alarm system. We thank our child's body for being the sensitive one, for being the in-tuned one, for being the one to say, hey, something isn't right. And their body is the body that opened up the eyes of the family and got us to change our ways for good. It is my core belief that there will be a time when we don't have to worry about living in a toxic environment anymore. However, as long as we do, there really never will be a time that we can go back to the standard way of living, the way we did before. This way of living is making the whole world sick. And we are so thankful that our juvenile arthritis child showed us, informed us, alerted us, gave us the alarm, so we had the sense to act and to change and to go against the grain and do things differently from now on. So all that to say, why did my juvenile arthritis child, my JIA child, why did their symptoms come back? It's because the world around us is so toxic. Our child didn't catch juvenile arthritis. They didn't unluckily develop something randomly. Their body is a living, breathing organism interacting with the world around it. And your JIA child is your alarm system. They're the sensitive one. Their body is letting your family know, this out here, this is not good. So yes, we will always want to live a lifestyle full of nourishing foods, foods grown biodynamically and sourced responsibly. We want what we put on our skin and what we breathe in around us. We unfortunately have to take those extra steps to create an environment around us and around our family to protect us from the world around us, because the world around us is so toxic. And I know I've said it, but I really do mean it. I know it seems like, why me? It's not why you. It's thank you. Thank you for showing me now. And thank you for my sensitive kid that can be so in touch with what's going on to let my family know when we get out of line and when we go too far. Because the other side of the spectrum of autoimmune disease is something none of us want. No one in the family. And we don't just catch these things. These things develop over time. Our bodies are so wise. They're so intelligent. They're so communicative. They're telling us all the time. They're telling us with the brain fog. Our body is telling us with the lethargy, with the tiredness. It's telling us with the dry skin, and it's talking to us. We don't want to wait until it's too late to finally listen, or we don't want to wait until we're so far gone to finally listen. It's much harder. So if your child that had JIA starts to develop symptoms again, take a look at, maybe where we could go back and go deeper with some of the things that we know we're supposed to be doing, and to hold there. And it's not because there's anything wrong with your kid. There isn't, but everything is wrong with the world. And we really can thank our JIA child, because they're preventing, as long as we listen to their body and the information it's giving us, they very well could be saving the life of the entire family, because you, the mom, are going to listen and you're going to respond accordingly, and you're going to heal your family and keep your family's bodies as toxin free as you possibly can while you navigate what's going on in the world today. So I hope this information was helpful to you. If you enjoy my content, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Share my video with somebody who has a child with juvenile arthritis, or they themselves are dealing with some sort of autoimmune issue, or their child has one of the other issues that I discussed in the video, because really it all does go hand in hand, and we do need each other, and we do need this information. So until next time, I'll see you in my next video.